How we doing, y'all? Welcome to Dukes and Duchesses. I am the Swedish-American rapper Wilhelm Duke. The Duchess is not on this episode, but we have a very, very talented, amazing guest. I'm very excited for the 6th episode of Dukes and Duchesses. We are here with none other than my homie, good friend, collaborator, Ramon Serrano. So we have a lot of topics that we want to get into with today's podcast, but let's just start. A little bit of background. Ramon Serrano. What makes you tick when it comes to music? Just FYI for the Dukes and Duchesses out there, Ramon plays guitar, he produces beats, he composes, he raps, he sings, he plays multiple instruments. And being the first guest on Dukes and Duchesses, we really want to highlight all of the dope independent artists, because I'm an independent artist. So, Ramon, just a little bit of background on yourself.
For sure. I think these days I'd consider myself like a producer. Like just a producer more than anything. I think I always have been like musician, producer. I think I consider myself a guitarist for a long time, just straight guitarist, producer. But like musically, I'm just like whatever is lush and artistic and beautiful and maybe kind of strange and creative, like creativity, and just true art, that's like what makes me tick,
So you don't necessarily stick to any specific genre or lane. You like to do literally like what you're feeling.
Yeah, what I'm
in any
feeling.
time.
I think my genre is like would just be like cool, whatever's like kind of cool. It could be kind of heavier, cool, or rap or R&B and then beautiful. I like to do shit that's like beautiful, cool, and then I came out of like my phase now is maybe just more beautiful shit, cool shit, dope shit. If that's not too
Definitely.
Versus shock rock, and shock shit that I used to be like dark shit and horror shit, which is definitely like part of my vibe. I really
no. There's definitely a very big time and place and market for everything dark. Yeah. There's a lot of dark music out there that I like. In fact, lately I've been getting into, I think he's probably considerably darker than either of us. But Ricky Hill, Tommy Hilfiger's son, is a rapper. He makes some of the most tormented, drugged out music I've ever heard. Really kind of reset my vibe. But anyways, now I don't know if the Dukes and Duchesses out there know, but Ramon Serrano, since 2022, he put out 6 albums, I think, in 2022, and he put out 5 albums in 2023. So I just want to kind of talk about that, like productivity, deciding to put so many albums out, thought process behind that. Yeah, like break that down, because that's impressive. That's a large body of work. So make sure to go to Spotify and all streaming platforms and check out Ramon Serrano.
For sure. It's a little it's not like it's a little trick up my sleeve. It's not like I just made all that music in 2 years. That's like a collection. So you could say I'm sort of late to the party. I started releasing music then, but I've been recording that music since 2011, 2012 or whatever. So it's just like right then I was like, and I always decided like, how am I gonna go about releasing my stuff? I gotta one day start releasing stuff. Been kind of hoarding all this music that I made. I do love it. I do want to show it. So I started in 2021 or was it 2022? I don't even remember. But put out the first album, which was 30 songs. I just picked 30 of my best songs and put them all out. Called it Simula One. And that was the idea. I sat on it for a little while, and I was just like, maybe this isn't the best idea. I was like, that's way too many songs on one album, and like it's a bad context. It's like, here's 30 songs of somebody you never heard of. Here's just a whole bunch of different genres. There's rap, there's pop, there's sad songs, there's all types of weird songs. And I was like, let me take a step back, and I put that album out with just 10 songs, and then slowly every couple months I started like trickling out. And aside with instrumental albums, I do instrumental albums based on the videos I make on Instagram, which is just the guitar videos. And I kind of chopped those up. After I made, like, in 2021, I made a bunch of those guitar videos, like, just like me playing with videos behind me, with different stuff behind me, just like entertaining ways to play guitar and stay creative. I made those into albums. I made 2 different albums based on those Instagram videos. I like just took the audio, cut them, maybe edited them a little bit where I needed to, and then made albums out of that. I released another instrumental album I did with drummer John Jackson. He's not too into the social media, but like he's a fantastic jazz.
Shout out John Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even know if I was familiar.
He's out in Detroit. Yeah, he's like an amazing jazz drummer, and like me and him used to like we used to play together. It was just me and him used to do a lot of improvisational jazz. That's my whole thing, improv. I don't like if you ask me to play any song on guitar, I don't know it. I only know how to just like play the scales and the theory and the keys and just like jam to anything. I just play what I feel. That's like my whole vibe, just like feel. That's how I produce. That's how I improvise. Just like whatever I'm feeling at the moment, don't overthink it. Just get into it and just make it happen, because production is like the key. Like just making shit.
No, and that seems to be the modern musician too, is you know, if you can curate feelings and vibes right off the bat, like why worry about so much theory and technical stuff, or knowing specific types of compositional structures you want to arrange, when you can just play literally what you're feeling.
Or too much structure, or anything that's going to pigeonhole you into say like, this is, you know, what I do. I'm a, you know, rock guitar player or something.
Right. Now, for all the Dukes and Duchesses out there, though, don't be afraid to put out a lot of music, though, because the majority of you artists, a lot of you just want to dip your toes in the water, drop a single, 6 months, a year later, drop another single. Maybe you have a music video, 6 months to a year later, you drop another single. But it's just, you know, it's just not as impressive as someone that's actually stacking entire bodies of work. You know, regardless of like the marketing output. If you have $1 million to push a single, that's obviously different. But if you're just random whoever and you put out one single, I mean, it's really not impressive. But okay, so because you broke down a little bit about you as a producer, I want to talk about influences, like whether it's bands, whether it's recording artists, whether it's producers. What are some influences that come to mind that you just would like to talk about?
Yeah, for sure. So like I've been like, I don't know, from the root of it, I love like R&B. A lot of R&B is like what I first started listening to, like Usher and like that's like earliest members like Usher, Mary J. Blige, Michael Jackson, obviously Prince. Just all just great black music, basically, like from my mom's side, I'll say. And then from my dad's side, he's listened to a lot of rock. And just like from that age, when I really started getting into music, I'm saying Usher, 1997, like Nice and Slow, and that first album, and all that shit was just like where I started, like all those early 2000s and, you know, late night, you know.
No, that's great. That's great music to start out and be exposed to.
And then my dad was into like new metal bands. He liked like Korn at the time, like Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, and I like that a lot. I grew out of a lot of it, but I still love, like, from that, like, a lot of the bands that he liked, like Cake and Blink-182, like, I'm big.
Cake, yes. Yeah, I remember Cake.
And then personally, what I started getting into, like, when I was, like, 14, 15, just, like, a lot of emo stuff, My Chemical Romance, The Used, my favorite band is Coheed and Cambria. It's, like, sort of like a progressive rock, you could say emo band, maybe they've been called, but, like, more like progressive rock shit. And then I love, personally, like, progressive rock shit, like Rush, I've always loved. And,
oh, my God.
And then all those bands, Black Sabbath, just like and then I just like, my life is just listening to like a whole lot of music. And if I like a band, I like love, like, let's say like Faith No More, I'll listen to like all the albums, Coheed and Cambria, all the albums, like I know this shit like the back of my head. And then top bands, since I talk fast, I'll just ramble this shit off. Mars Volta, Coheed and Cambria, Cake, that stuff like got my DNA. And then R&B wise, my fucking like R&B is like The Dream, the artist The Dream.
The Dream. Oh yeah.
He's like by far like my biggest influence, and like every one of his albums I've like listened to, like, and you'll hear it in my music. If you listen, like, that's why my shit's so like kind of far out, and then there is like a lot of falsetto and shit. And obviously Michael Jackson and Prince were like huge influences, but they're also huge influences on him, on The Dream. So it's, you know, everybody's just kind of piggybacking off each other. Anyway, that's why I think it's important to just like just find some shit you love and dig into it. You know, it doesn't matter, like, what really, if you just stay on what's hot all the time, you know, I think you're gonna miss out on a lot. You know, if you have time to listen to music, you know, listen to music. You know, find some albums you love and listen to the albums all the way through and shit like that. That's like,
that's actually very no, that's yeah, what you just said was very key. Like, search and listen to music, not just consume what's the latest hot music that just got released by artists that are at the pinnacle or peak of their fame, because that is all. That type of music, as much as we all love it, it's the most easily digestible, easily accessible music. And those are very dope influences.
I'll say like the best music, the top music is the top music for a reason. There's a reason like that. Beyonce, Justin Timberlake, Drake, and fucking, you know, these names. These are like, they play Bruno Mars. Like, they're the best because they're the best. Like, they just sound good. They touch that many people, you know, and it's all about like how many people is your like art touching, and that stuff is, you know, general enough that everybody fucking fucks with it, you know, for the most part. So You just find some shit you fuck with.
Yeah, like as much as I like to be negative and hate that pop music is. I mean, it's pop music because everybody can really kind of gravitate towards it, whereas even something like Cake or Coheed Cambria is not for everyone. Like Kings of Leon isn't for everyone. There's so much music out there that's
but
not
it's
for
a lot more
everyone.
than like. But check out like have you that in your system and Katy Perry. Like I'm not like joking when I say like I listen to a whole Katy Perry album and love it and know the whole thing.
Oh, you've joked with me that before. You've said
Miley Cyrus
when you said that the first time.
Justin Bieber. It's a reason like they have the most money in their productions. They're the biggest teams and they're making the tightest shit, the best sounding shit. They got the best grooves, the best melodies, the best vocals, sounding things. Like I think you got to step away from like who is it? Your father? Oh, it's Justin Bieber. Oh, you like Justin Bieber? Like because it's Justin Bieber? Like no, what have you heard it? Have you heard all of it or listened to that album? Yeah, sure. There's plenty of fluff on there. Pass by it. But it's all there. It's there, and that's what I think expands my mind like as a producer and keeps like the ideas and the creativity out there. Just like studying music and. Sort of side note, I've truck driving for all these years, 4 years. I'm a little bit spoiled that to have just a lot of time on the road, like 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day, just to have music playing in my ears all the time. So like that's I'm a little spoiled by that. But through high school, that's all I did too. It's like if I'm home, I got headphones and I'm listening, I'm studying. If it's important to you, if music important to you, find out. Listen to it.
So you got to be a student of music, which includes pop music, Dukes and Duchesses. Yeah. So don't discount it out just because it's top 40. Still. Be a student.
Be a student. And time-wise, old music, 50s, 20s, 30s, 40s, anything you find. Get hooked on blues, get hooked on jazz, get hooked on anything. 80s music, 90s music, we can go on all day about like, oh, let's talk about James Brown or fucking Ray Charles or Otis Redding or what old shit, but just like love everything. And if you love it, you love it. Another thing I kind of hate, if you just want to go off on a tangent here, is like gatekeeping with music. Like that, I think that's a big part about like people like get into like this is my artist, this is your artist, this is that. This is a pet peeve of mine. What you know about that? Like what you know about this? This is some super special shit that we only listen to. We like. I'm like fuck all that. It ain't nothing but music. It ain't nothing that's something coming from one soul to another and meant like to touch people. And the more like people it touches, the better.
Yeah, I feel like prior social media day and age, that was a huge issue. And I'm a little bit younger, but I remember. Coming up in middle school and high school and certain cliques of kids and there's varying degrees of popularity, but I remember coming up, so many people really had the music that they really fucked with, tight knit, and they didn't want to share it, right. Unless I'd be at a party and then I'd be smoking weed and it's like everybody knows that like I want to rap or whatever, but like I didn't know who Big Crit was at the time. And like I'm hanging out with these other guys and they're like clowning me because like I don't know who Big Crit was and he had just dropped like King Remembered in Time or whatever. That's a very interesting, like there's gatekeeping obviously in the music industry, but there's also gatekeeping as like a consumer of music and art.
100%. I think that's more what I was getting at. Like think about like click wise, like if you think like high school, like emo music, we only like this, and your music is let's say gay or whatever you think of your stuff, or that rapper's whack or soft, or you like Drake or stuff like that. Like that's so silly to me to like judge the artist or like the group of artists or the type of music or anything like that. Imagine what you're missing out on.
Right.
Aside from like Ja Rule, everything.
No, like I definitely.
It's fair game. It's dope.
You're like. Definitely speaking to my high school, college experiences right now. Because like I remember being on the basketball team, but I loved at the time when I was 17, 18, I loved like folk indie rock type music, like whatever the hipsters, what they call the hipsters, like the music they were listening to, 2011, 2012. I really gravitated towards that, but it was like I wasn't part of like the hipster clique or whatever. So I'd be like showing up to these DIY house shows, and it's like I wasn't really like accepted, and it's like. That's literally gatekeeping in music, like when you and all your friends are the only ones that know about this music, and then you want to exclude other people from these types of experiences. And we can go on about this shit forever. But if Dukes and Duchesses is out there, if you fuck with some good music, share that music. Put somebody onto that music. And don't act like, oh, what do you know about that? As if the person you're talking to couldn't even... Their personality type couldn't even, gravitate towards whatever art that you're...
And do share, and that's a big part of my personality is sharing it. And I just remember my Instagram sort of experience when I started in 2021 or whatever I did was trucking. And I have this highlight reel of me trucking every day, and I'd put out a song. I do me, the the road, you see the road, you see the time, you see the temperature, you see the place, and you see a song. And that was me just like saying, here's a dope song. Because I'd be driving in truck and listening to music. So I'd be like, oh, this is tonight. And I'd be planning ahead for hours. Like, what's the song tonight? What's the song tonight? And I try to be as like varied as possible. So there's a fucking free plug if you want to just like, you put on to just random dope songs. My highlight reel, I have two, it's called the Road 1 and the Road 2. And it's just like a lot of rock songs, but there is rap songs. It's just like, maybe I should have put more like country songs and shit, or a little bit more jazz songs or variety. But at the time, it's just like me trucking, what I was into. Is just like I was also like maybe showing my emotions, what I was going through for myself, so I can go back and listen. Like, oh, I remember why I posted that, or I remember that what this little code was and shit like that. So that's fun, and that's what Instagram is to me. It's just like an artistic expression. It's just like, and honestly, I'm kind of on a break from it right now. I'm like barely using it, but
do you think fans of music and consumers of music, do you think there's less gatekeeping now because of social media and sharing so much great music, old and new, with each other, or do you think it's really hasn't really changed?
The thing is, it's like I'm not in high school anymore, so
right,
I can't really.
And I'm not, I'm not out on them. You know, people got jobs and to work and lives to, But I can't be out here at all these parties listening to what the kids are listening to and asking, picking their brain.
But I guess we got the internet, and what I see on there is that, there is just so much more variety and so much more different things blowing up, and we're hearing just like a lot of variety. So it's like, it's kind of hard to gatekeep because there's just so much sharing, and we're like in a sharing culture now, and shit that goes viral is viral for everybody. It's hard to like not hear of something,
So to connect onto that, because I know we were talking before the podcast, so what are some of your opinions or thoughts on the state of modern music, and also how you play into that as being part of the music industry? Any pros, any cons, positives, negatives, any breakdowns?
Yeah, for sure. I love a lot of, I think we're on the cutting edge of music. I think some shit, like the best shit is happening now. Like, you guys talked about on your last podcast between, would you say, Kendrick or Drake? Like, there was some type of comparison there. Obviously, Kendrick is far better than Drake as an artist, and as an artist, just for the layman, like you're a musician, you're an artist, you're a rapper, so you're connecting with Drake on a deeper level because he's really fucking putting some deep, and so is Drake. They're doing that for Drake too, but Drake is that's for everybody, and that's so sweet. Like, Drake's shit is just so sweet. It's just like it's like candy on a plate. Everything that Drake does, he got something for everybody every day of the week. And a lot of people can't handle that much. Kendrick is a steak right there.
Like that American Hi-Fi song, "Flavor." You're just the flavor, but it's like Drake has flavors for every week.
Drake has something for everybody since he started. Every year he's got something huge for everybody, and it's dope.
I agree. I do think we're on the cutting edge of music. It's never been a better time to be a musician, to be a recording artist. And I also think, like going back 20 years, if you remember all of the famous recording artists or the recording artists and bands that were making a living, I mean, the variety now of what they look like, what they sound like, who they are is exponentially like
music
we're all so different now.
We're only 100 years into this music thing, man. It's like we're still growing and learning from each other. Like, all the people today learned from the 90s, learned from 2010, and like the shit is so tight. Like right now, I think like the best rappers are like JID, Jid.
Oh yeah. Signed to Dreamville. Yep.
Yeah, him is just like, that shit is
break
just
a pound down,
yeah.
The
best of the best shit is just like off the chain to me. It's like, but there's like Tyler the Creator is like far. He's got shit that just fucking will tear you apart. It's just beautiful, beautiful shit. Same with Kendrick and everybody else who's just like on the cutting edge. There is plenty of shit I don't like, just not my taste. Like, I'll say one thing that I don't like. I'm not gonna act like I'm a big fancy of everything. I don't love like street trap music, like Lil Turbo, Lil G Herb, these different type of like real, even maybe like Lil Durk, just real murder music, all that like real hard stuff is a little beyond it. And I don't really love like real like bad bitch stuff, like the Cardi B's and the Megan Thee Stallions, all that stuff is a little bit too.
I love those.
I know a lot of my sister funny. Does, and everybody does. But it's like for me, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm a
sexy red.
Well, yeah.
Right. That shit is just too much. I'm surprised at that stuff.
The spectrum is wide of what's out there, but I was also talking to Dean Akbar about this last night. That I can respect and have an appreciation for certain types of any type of art and music, but I can't and I won't go out of my way to listen to other people talk about killing each other all the time, or selling certain drugs that are incredibly damaging to the community. You know what I mean? Or especially the violence is where I pretty much draw the line. Sex and drugs is a little bit more whatever, but violence to me is really just kind of that's
and violence from that perspective, to me, it's suspicious. It's suspicious to me that shit sounds so much like kids' music. That is so fun and cute, and it's so like simple, and everything about it is very simple. And
I blame the old white guys at these record labels that know what they're doing, destabilizing these communities full of black and brown ethnic. Anyways,
and I feel like that to me, the bad bitch music is just another leg of that. I feel like that's something to do with just like doing something to women.
And this is why, because Ramon Serrano is an indie artist. Wilhelm Duke, I am an indie artist, and I think a lot of where our negativities come into play is the messages in all of the popular mainstream music that makes money for these artists. A lot of these messages are just kind of low vibrational and not where we're at.
I'll say something important about this whole thing is we're all adults, and this is fine for all adults. I get it. I can listen to it and I can enjoy it. I'm not going to fucking blow my head off or somebody else, but like I'm thinking about the kids, and this is the stuff that comes on the radio. And I'm thinking about young people that don't know the difference, where like Power Rangers to them is like action packed, That's
I was addicted
to us.
To Power Rangers when I was.
Yeah, but now we can watch it as an adult and just see some martial arts, and that's the same with the music. We just see dope beats, we hear some shit that's getting us turned up. But kids think that these songs are like true stories, and this is the shit, and this is how these guys, my favorite artists, this is how they act in the streets every day, and whether they do or they don't, I don't think that's good for like people like under 10 years old or 13 years old. I don't really know like when people do that. But
no, honestly, a lot. And that brings up an interesting point, because I do think actually a lot of music that is made probably should exclusively be for adults. I mean, I listened to this, so I was talking about Ricky Hill earlier. This is literally Tommy Hilfiger's son, right?
Is it rap? Is it rock? What is it?
It's rap.
It's rap,
but it's very interesting, and
druggy rap.
It's very tormented, but no offense to Ricky Hill. By the way, Ricky Hill's super fan, but, he talks a lot about heroin usage. He's like, I don't drive foreigns, it's American. Everybody in my town off the heroin. And it's like, to me, that shit is like, that gets me pumped. For sure. But I would never do that. And I also know what I'm listening to, and I know, you know what I mean? So, but it's like, if I was a 9-year-old and I just stumbled upon Ricky Hill, that might literally change the course of my entire life, because he's such a visceral. Sure. But no, you're absolutely right. It's the kids do not need exposure, especially to all like the hot, sexy girl rappers. If you're a 9-year-old boy, should you be consuming these women that are 18 to 30? And I mean, I don't know. My first exposure to porn, when was it? But when was it? No, we're all adults, and that's I think a lot of us could be putting better messages into the music, for sure.
Yeah, I believe that.
All right, what do we got here? Okay, so Ramon Serrano, you got a collab album in the works with Mike Mraz. Break that down, explain that. Okay. I've heard some of the cuts. Y'all are sparring back and forth, East Coast, boom bap, Chicago style as well. Let's talk about it.
For sure. So Mike Mraz was one of the first like rapper when I decided to get back on the scene. Let's just say that like I'm a baby in this whole thing. Let's say 2020. Obviously, I'm not a baby to producing, making music, and fucking with the shit. But I hopped on.
No, veteran for sure.
On the social media. I used to make the beats and everything and just send it on an email to like 4 or 5 people, like just people that are like, hey, I made this shit. That was my. And I guess I should definitely bring up my grandma. I love you to death. She was the one that was the person that I'd send every single song that I made since I was making the shits in 2012, excuse my language, to her individually.
Wait, your grandma would listen to all your tunes?
Yeah, every song, every time I put them out. And then give me feedback on almost every song, every time.
Are you guys hearing this? This is how you actually support a family member that has an interest in the arts and music. That. I don't even need to go into that, but I tell you what, none of y'all do that, and you guys are all haters out there. Telling people to get a real job, stop doing this, stop doing that, so... Yeah, sorry. 100%. Go on. That's fascinating. That's very fascinating.
It really sometimes just takes like one person. Imagine just having like one person that just bounce some shit off, bounce back off of an idea. So like if it's not, and that's why I'm like so, I don't want to say generous or whatever, but just the way I am, like I'm real easy. Everything I do is free. Everything is just like, I'm easy like that because like, that's what I received. And I believe like this is just art and we're all trying to just like grow some shit. And it's free because I'm getting so much out of it. For me to make some art on the world and leave it behind and for it to say, and anyone to hear it, isn't that the gift? And that's always been the gift. So like, send a song to my grandma. She'd listen to it. She'd give me the feedback. She'd love it. That was the thing too. She just so happened to fucking love it, and like it was like her favorite music. So like I keep sending it to her, and it was like I loved it because this is music based on all my influences. She hardly even understood like a lot of the complexity of it or what I was going for, but she loved it and helped me love it in different ways and taught me things and told me things as it was going, just with the constant feedback. And that's what like helped me make, like, I think I've made at least like 350 complete songs, you know, like MP3s where like every year, there was a time where I was making 4 albums a year. I just make a song a day, you know. It was like 2014.
I think 350 might be undercutting.
Oh yeah,
I
stopped counting after a while. I've been
considering the folders
time.
you were just showing me.
Yeah, I stopped counting after a while, but I've been saying 350 for some years.
How? Yeah. It's impressive that you've held on to so much music from over a decade ago.
Yeah.
Considering just I've lost so much, and you might have lost a lot of music too, but it was just seeing how much work he's compiled on his laptop on all those albums was like, you know, because I don't have access to anything prior 2019 at this point. So it was like seeing all that, like, damn, like that's very disciplined and on point with file management and making sure you're saving your work from long ago and it's still there.
Were they just MP3s that you had, or were they a different format? Like you lost literally just MP3. Would you make one master, one MP3, and then it disappeared?
Yeah, I mean it was all just sessions on another laptop, and
were
I guess
they sessions
MP3s.
like on a computer and not?
Yeah,
that's the thing. See, the trick is just do it, get it done. It's MP3, master it. Once I had it, I emailed it. That was kind of a cheat code. If you email it, somebody else has got it. So whatever I've lost, I can get it back from my grandma.
I might have bounces. I might have some bounces from back in the day, but no, like I just wanted to touch on that because that's just very impressive. Yeah. And I feel like I run into a lot of recording artists that also go through this. Oh, I lost all this, you know, sure. And it's like, file management, very important.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. Like I don't know if we're gonna get into like production talk.
Oh
like,
yeah,
the
we can go into that right
we can
now.
go into that. What would you ask me just before we were talking about?
Oh, sorry.
The
Mike Miraz. Okay. Yes, this collab album is going to be hot. I've heard 2-3 joints from it already.
Okay. So as soon as I got on the social media thing, Mike Miraz I met at an open mic, and he was introduced to my good friend Herman. He goes by H2O, Herman Rome.
Shout out Herman. Hell yeah.
Shout out Herman, my man. So he introduced me to Mike Miraz. He told me about him before the day I met him. He's like, here's a guy. And I met him. I saw him perform first. Imagine that. I saw him perform before I introduced myself. And he did a couple of songs. Blew my mind. Fantastic rapper. And I was like, I'm kind of this guy. If you rap dope on stage, I'll always come up to you and be like, dope, dude, that was amazing. I'm fucking with it. Here's my details.
We appreciate guys like that. You know, MCs like that. Because you're also an MC. You know?
I try to, and
we appreciate showing love. I showed love to everybody last night. A lot of people were frosty, but
for sure. And that's the way to just for me to just keep myself like inspired and creative. It's just like anybody's willing to fuck with me. I'm like, yo, what you got going? You want to hear some beats? You want this? Can I fuck with you? You want to fuck with me? And I always try. If nothing comes of it, it's never no hard feelings. It's just like it is what it is. But me and Mike Miraz like sort of click. I think we got a lot of similar background. We're about the same age musically. Like he likes a lot of the same like kind of Deftones, Linkin Park, kind of like bands, like kind of like those kind of. He likes System of a Down a lot, and fucking probably Papa Roach. I could probably just like name all my favorite bands. Probably the shit that he likes and shit or liked. You know, right?
I just got back into Papa Roach. Sorry.
Yeah. This shit's hard. So he.
How many records though that are gonna be coming out on this?
On the new one?
On you and Mike Miraz?
Oh, man, we're like, he's juggling between 9, 10, and 11. It's like, it's quite
fantastic.
A few. Yeah,
fantastic. That's going to be solid and full.
And honestly, it's like, all the stuff's done. We just got to get, like, everything recorded properly. We got to do some more of the vocals. Everything's, like, written. But we got different takes of everything. Like, we're just trying to get it organized and released. But we've got other tracks out together. I'll just tell you a little bit more about him and meeting him.
Please.
Yeah, he came and recorded a couple tracks in my crib right away. That's what I love, man. That's an artist, and that's how I know you're an artist that's about your shit and you want to make art for the sake of making art because you're willing to go out your way right on the dime just to try some shit out. Who knows? Like this guy I lived in Aurora at the time. He came out to Aurora from Chicago and we mixed, he recorded, I gave him the beat. He had already written to it and shit. He came here, he recorded 3 songs he wrote. We did On Earth together. Me and him, that's on my catalog, On Earth, which is, A song I wrote in 2014. Like I don't know if that like kills the magic that the shit is old or some shit, but like it's just I wrote my verse in 2014 and had a blank spot for verse 2, and we're just sitting, maybe I asked 2 or 3 people and nobody hopped on it, but Mike Mraz fucking wrote the verse in like a day and came back and we tightened it up, and I told him, hey, write another verse for the end, and then I love that shit and I'm gonna like love it forever on Earth. Is like a dope fucking song,
Do we have a tentative name
of the album coming out?
Unless you don't want to give that away for the audience.
No, if I can remember right now, I'll say it. I don't think I'll mind. I hope. I don't know. I'll look on my phone. But yeah, it sounded good. It's kind of like rap, but like he likes my kind of rock style. So like a lot of the heavier kind of aspects of my shit, he's always with it. So like I'll send him some shit, and he's even like a little bit more experimental and far out with me than me, because like I got like instrumental that almost sound kind of jazzy, and he's just like kind of singing, rapping over the whole thing. So yeah, he's far out. So what? It's called Wrestling with Shadows.
Wrestling with Shadows. I like that. That's different. That's distinct, and it's not cliche. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wrestling with Shadows. Yeah. And I feel like whenever I hear shadows or wrestling in a title, it's those 2 words are never put together. So that's interesting. Yeah. Wrestling with Shadows. Okay, dope. We
got music video ideas coming up for some of the songs, and maybe some of my songs with him. He loves videography, and he's amazing at it. You should check out some of his music videos on YouTube.
Yeah, I recently shared a Mike Mraz music video that was in black and white, where he's like in the forest.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen the whole thing. I don't know if it's all in black and white, but I've seen it with a girl, like he's chasing a girl in a car. I think.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Check them out.
We will be link in the video at the bottom.
Sure.
Mike Mraz will be coming up, and this project that I'm referencing, which my apologies, I don't know which music video that was, but it was really sick, and I shared it to my stories, and I was like, support real, support dope.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of that in the Chicago scene. A lot of us are very real. We make very dope music.
Because we learn from the best. We had great influences. We're in like the pinnacle of like, well, at least for us, obviously, because it's our taste, because we grew up on it, but like, this is like, a lot of the local artists are fucking amazing.
Okay, so real quick, not real quick, because this is going to be a breakdown. But for all the Dukes and Duchesses out there, I know a lot of you are music producers. I know a lot of you are probably rappers, recording artists, and want to flirt a little bit more with the production and the composition side. But it was very fascinating when we were talking about this earlier, but yeah, just break down how you specifically produce instrumentals.
Short thing.
And use all the technical jargon. Please blow the mind of our audience. Don't dumb it down for anybody. If you're watching this is not getting dumbed down.
Sure, I'll try to just get it in a way that you can kind of visualize sort of a process and maybe give you some inspiration here, like as far as like production goes.
Yes, please.
So production-wise, my favorite producer, I'll say, is probably Timbaland. Believe it or not, Timbaland, is because in my mind, what I see is him being just like a rhythm producer. Like, this is the end of the day, we're trying to make music, which is to move you, which is rhythm, and everything, when I can do it, when I can get into it and find it, is made to be some rhythm. Everything you listen to does something to your body, has you moving in a certain way, you're bumping in a certain way, you're rocking your head in a certain way, whatever. So it's just about catching feelings of what you can do, and Timbaland's got just like a million of them, and just shit that just have you just like fucking having your mind blown, like in deep ways. So he's probably the top, but I love like Dre, and I love fucking The Dream, whoever works with the fucking Dream. I think he does like a lot of self-production. Obviously Kanye, what he does, like his productions are amazing. Fucking, I'll always say that All of the Lights is one of like the best produced songs of all time. Listen to that with those fucking toms going crazy. Shit's crazy. So anyway, my production way, I'll say, like, if you want to produce and you want to make music, just do it. Just find a way to layer 4 tracks. And do it. Find a drum loop somewhere. And also, if you don't want to, it's like how deep you want to take it, how creative do you want to be. If you just want to find yourself a free YouTube beat and rap on it, then just do that. That's fine. You just want to be a rapper, but like, if we're talking about production here, and you want to be able to make something that you hear in your mind, or that you love, or you can imagine, it's just start with some drums, find some drums, a drum loop if you want to keep it that simple. And if you got enough technology to find kick drums, you start layering, find a sweet kick drum, tune your kick drum, whatever it be, a long kick drum, a short kick drum, and into a hi-hat, get some hi-hats going, get a snare going, find where it's going to be on the 2 or the 4 or the B, and Once you get a little drum pattern going, maybe 4 bars, 8 bars, I go to throwing the bass on there if you got that, or you either go bass if you can think of a bass line that'll carry the whole song. So if this is like a funk driven song or something that's like more moving, you know, just find whatever bass line that can go through the whole thing, and you can listen to this and just groove on it forever. That could be it if it's a bass driven song. Otherwise, chord progression. If it's a chord progression driven song, you find your 4 chords, however you're gonna do it. You could do it with a guitar or piano or what have you. Harmonies, if you just got fucking vocals, maybe you're gonna just stack a 3-part harmony if you have the musical yin yang to do it. And then I'll go like, so I always record it. You want to grab the Tascam? Can you show that on the camera?
Yeah.
So I recorded the majority, like the first 10 years of my recording on an 8-track recorder, something like this, something like, we can edit that if you want.
All good. I caught the AT 2020.
Okay. So I recorded the majority of the first maybe 10 years of my recording on an 8-track recorder, like something like this. I just get a drum loop from a piano. You got a Yamaha Casio, anything that has drum loops on it. Find a drum loop you like, an 8-beat feel, 16-beat feel, classic feel, rock feel, pop shuffle or shuffle, whatever you like. And that was always track 1. Then track 2, I'd always do the bass. I'd do a bass line. Then I do track 2, I do a rhythm. Track 4, I do a lead. And then I leave 4 tracks for vocals. Rhythm and lead, bass, yeah, and then I do that on a 4-bar loop or 8-bar loop, whatever you're gonna do. You could just do 8 bars, so it's just like dun 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 dun, and if you're looping that, then that's the whole fucking song. And then you might drop out the bass sometimes, you might drop out the drum sometimes. Any way to make it to keep you interested in your ear. So it could just be that dun 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 through the whole fucking song. But if you know how to drop out the lead here, add a lead here, but you only have options. This I think minimize it. What do you call it? Like, little bit is the mother of invention, or necessity is the mother of invention. Is just because you don't have a lot, so you got to figure out ways to be creative. And then the most important thing, and especially a lot of my earlier music, you heard like a lot of vocals, a lot of harmony of the stuff you hear earlier, is because I had 4 tracks to do vocals, and if I knew that I only had 4 tracks to stay creative with the instrumentation, I got to use these vocals best I can. So I do. Eventually, when I got really good at it, I had this down to a science. I had like a lead vocals. I do like a octave lower, octave higher. Just had so many different crazy vocal techniques that pretty much I learned from the Dream. Like a lot of like my vocals, not just the Dream, but he learned them from Michael Jackson or Prince or whatever, and just like, man, different ways to stack harmonies just with 4 different acapella things and just whatever, and just get wild with these 4 tracks. And obviously you don't have to do it that way. You could do drums, bass, lead, guitar, and 1 vocal track, however you're gonna do it, you know. You could.
So because the Tascam was limited with the 8 channels, that forced you to have certain creativity that you wouldn't have unlocked had you not been limited by something like the Tascam. Because necessity is what is the phrase again? Necessity is the mother of invention, or your limitations are your whatever. But anyways, no, that's fascinating. Okay. He has 4 tracks and then 4 tracks for vocals, and Reaper Gang though.
Reaper now, yeah.
Reaper Gang. And like, what was it back then?
Tascam.
Oh, it was. See how my mind is getting blown? It wasn't even a DAW, right?
The whole track right here, and mastered it here, and uploaded it, go mastering, and you'd see it slowly loading, and it'd be done. Then I'd upload that to the computer, and that'd be the MP3, and I'd send that all around.
So before even using the digital audio workstation, composing entire records with 8 channels on the Tascam. That is fucking dope.
Yeah, man.
That is fucking dope.
Just staying after it.
For all the Dukes and Duchesses out there, there's many ways to produce. Ramon continues to teach me new things of ways to, because I didn't even know you could like, I was just like, oh, how do you make a beat inside the computer, right? And then he's like introducing me to all this MIDI stuff, and then obviously like, anyways, my mind is a little well.
It's not that I'm anti-MIDI.
No, I have the MIDI.
I don't use any MIDI. I don't use MIDI. That's a weird thing. Like, as like, and it is what it is. Here's maybe we can get to some gatekeeping, because another producer might say, oh, this motherfucker don't even use MIDI. It's just like, I do my things my way. I just never got into it. I play everything direct, and I tune it. So like my tracks are like, now if I'm more sophisticated, if I was to use this, I'd play like a whole part. I'd play the whole piano part here. I'd play the whole guitar part here, or bass part there. I'd play it all the way through. But now that I'm using DAW, I could just see it visually. So I'm still playing all my parts through and all my instruments. I'm not using any virtual instruments besides and it really doesn't matter. What's the difference that you're using a virtual instrument from a plug-in versus a virtual instrument that you're pulling off a Yamaha or a Casio piano or what have you? Because I'm still going to tune it regardless. I get that instrument and I tune the piano.
So you prefer not to use MIDI, play direct from instruments because you're going to have to tune regardless.
Right. I prefer everything to just go directly into the input and
lively record.
Aside from the drums, which I have a sample library of all the popular drum sounds, your Korgs and 808s and 707s and Roland sounds and R7s, everything. The Ailsa sounds and the Linn drum.
What is this keyboard?
That's just an old Yamaha. Just an old Yamaha. It's nothing special. It's just like
it's a Yamaha PSR 19.
Yeah, it's just probably from the 90s.
Dope.
Something old. Just something. You want to show that? Where is it above your head?
Yeah.
So something like this is what I did. Like a lot of my production, I show the like the keys. Like a lot of my early productions would be just on any piano like this, where you can do drums. You press play. You find a drum that you like. You press play. You let it loop on track 1, and you find a bass line you like. You let that. You play you make up a bass line on track 2. You find a chord progression you like. You put that on track 3, and you find a little lead. Do dee do dee dee. That's the lead I was talking about. But 3 is always going to be your rhythm or your chords or whatever. And then the rest is just vocal. So if you got a microphone and a way to plug this into your computer or whatever else, you can do that. And if you have a way to loop, you can get it away from your face now. If you got a way to like loop those things, you can make music. If you haven't, an idea in your head and a way to get it out. I don't know.
No. To recap all that, don't use MIDI. No.
No, definitely use MIDI. However you can get this. If you got just a microphone and you're just like beatboxing your whole thing across and making humming sounds and stuff, whatever you could do to just get creative and make some shit, because you're always going to be growing from that and learning from that and trial and error and saying, okay, this piece of gear is not good enough for me. Now I'm going to upgrade. I need this piece of gear because I have more, I got to get more vast. And eventually it gets so vast that you'll stop making music like me. Because I just make music for other people because I have too many options for myself, so I never make music. Yeah.
Well, you should still continue making Ramon Serrano records.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait till the day that I will get back to making like straight Ramon Serrano songs. But like every time I start a project, I like think of somebody else and I'll be like, I gotta send this to Mike, like, because I'm not gonna hop on it right now. I've told so many stories and all my music is like, what is like kind of the next story I'm gonna tell or whatever, So.
Well, no, I mean, that's good. The music world definitely needs individuals like yourself that are coming from like a collaborative producing mindset, much like all the greatest producers that like we look up to, because they're always knowing how to like reach out to others, pull other people in on what they're doing, and really get that collaborative process, off the ground in ways that like rappers can't, you know what I mean? Because like rappers and artists offer, if you're just like a rapper, right? You offer a specific thing to like the musical experience but if you're a producer, the scope is just, it's way beyond what a rapper can bring to the table, unfortunately. I think that's pretty objective.
Sure.
Now if you rap and produce, I mean,
yeah, or just
we'll kill it.
Be a rapper that knows how to pick the best beats, or producers that find the music that is gonna complement you. If you're a writer, or find a good beat on YouTube or whatever, and just let your raps let people know, I'm the dopest rapper. And then a producer, somebody like me, but maybe makes the type of shit you like, or whatever, your style is, will find you, if you're just showing that you're a hot spitter, that's how you do it, I think. Yeah.
But you got to put yourself out there, y'all.
Yeah, you got to produce.
One single every 6 months with a music video isn't going to cut it. You might as well experiment. You might as well put some albums together, put some projects together. Maybe drop 30 records over here. Drop 7 records over here. Drop 17 records over here.
Anything. If you're an artist, make some art. Just post it up, even if it's just like some little shit on YouTube, you singing or wherever you're gonna post it. But share that for the sake of leaving behind like a legacy or inspiring or anything, just and grow from it or whatever. But if you don't ever start anywhere or don't even put out like that first song or that first couple songs, that first project, you're just gonna push it farther and farther away, I think, and never grow from it and never get better, because once you put that first one out, just let it go. That was, I think, my biggest secret, just letting everything go. From once I started recording, and my grandma geeked my head up for so long, like, oh, that's a hit, this is it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make and I kept growing, kept learning different techniques as I was growing, year by year, every month, and put out every album. So you gotta really, really start, because there's no way around learning like that. You're gonna just learn from your mistakes and learn from this and that and develop your own taste and all that stuff just from not stopping, just always going and going. Like, even though, like, if you don't see me on Instagram, trust me, watch your back. I am going, you know, I'm playing. I don't stop. Like, I'm always recording. I'm always producing, you know, writing, getting better.
No, there's a huge difference between being an artist and a creative and then, you know, having to market yourself on social media. And there's definitely a lot of people that are, like, doing a lot more marketing on social media than they are doing any creating and, like, actual artistic things, right?
And it's a balance. I don't have the best balance of it. You're
no, I mean,
you post like crazy, but like
post like crazy, but I need to be making more records. Losing my train of thought. No, so last night performing in Cedar Rapids just made me realize that when it comes to the hip hop culture and emceeing, the amount of people that don't understand that you're not just dude. We were the only artists last night that didn't completely perform over their mastered records, you know, and it was varying styles of hip hop, but it was a lot of singing and it was a lot of rapping, but every recording artist that got up there was singing over their full vocals, rapping over their full vocals. I think performance, especially in music, has gotten to such an accessible place that you're just, especially at the starting out stages of certain people, you're just going to see all sorts of things. And then I don't think a lot of artists really, especially in hip hop, understand the idea of like show tracks or just going over beats. But not just that in general. Like, I was discussing this with Dean Akbar, or like watching you and Mike Miraz on stage a few times. It's like, if you're just rapping over the instrumental, that's immediately more impressive, and then you don't have to do as much song and dance from a performance perspective because like the actual craftsmanship is there, right? So like when Dean and I are rapping on stage, we're just focusing on rapping on stage and being on point and in the pocket. But you look at all these other artists that just want to sing over their masters, rap over the masters, and it's a lot of jumping around. It's a lot of taking the microphone down away from their mouth and lip syncing the lyrics, like air lyricking or whatever this is, you know, with the mic way down here. But and even other styles of performance, like there was this kid in the Chicago scene who you would go to an open mic and he would spend his entire like open mic slot like
2019.
I'm not gonna say who this person is specifically, but like first of all, he's not a guitarist like yourself, right? So he can't play guitar live, but he would show up to the open mics thinking he could play guitar live, and then he would actually just spend his entire open mic slot tuning the guitar, and then by the time he's playing the guitar, he's just strumming one thing offbeat to this. Anyways,
maybe it was what do you call it? Andy Kaufman?
No,
Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, he was just trolling you guys.
He was trolling. What the hell that was?
Yeah.
Performance is really important to me, and I think it has become so watered down because of the accessibility, which is also a good thing because things should be infinitely accessible. Yeah. But I also think that to get to a place where it's interesting when what you're doing on stage, that takes years of work and practice and developing a message, developing a style. Yeah. And it's not just with emceeing either, because like I said, with this, just comparing you to this guitarist that I'm thinking of, that I've seen, by the way, do this at multiple open mics, which is literally, it was honestly disrespectful, wasting everybody's time, because it's like nobody wants to see a person tune an acoustic guitar who can't even play it and is just strumming one chord.
And he didn't sing a song?
He did eventually sing the song, but it's like, dude, when I saw it, I was like,
we didn't come to see you practice. Basically.
Well, yeah, but it's like, but that's the thing. It's like practice is for practice. When you know the kinks at an open mic, sure. Are your performances perfect? Are there problems? Are there kinks? Yeah, but to completely just do something like that, and clearly it's like, dude, why are you even up here trying to play a guitar? Like, there's people that practice for 15 plus years playing guitar, and they're still not even performing in front of other people. You know, but. Not to get on too much of a tangent, I want to pick your brain a little bit about what you think about live music performance and how it should be done, how it should be curated. If you want to delve into emceeing, guitar playing, musicianship, like what are your thoughts on live performance right now, how it is, what you observe, and how you feel about expressing it as well.
Sure. So I have I started, checking out open mics for since like 2015. I started, here and there, poking my head in, seeing, playing a little bit of guitar and singing, different things like that, or performing. Usually eating shit, usually doing a pretty poor job of that. Every once, 1 out of every 5, I'd have a pretty like performance I'd be proud of, or at least have other people tell me that I should be proud of it. Like, like, hey man, that was actually dope. So that just shows me that it is a practice. You need to be practicing. You need to take some time aside and rehearse literally what you're gonna do. Just because you recorded a song, you're in the studio and you listen to it all the time, doesn't mean, and it's your song, doesn't mean when you perform it, it's gonna be hot. It's just not. It's just not. I learned that the hard way.
Performing music.
Performing, super important. I love it. I love to see it. It's a practice, I was saying. So I think we got enough of that practicing stuff. So we said that. You really got to practice it. I kind of learned the hard way, but I like spent some time. We got the Music Garage in Chicago is where I like to go like for practice. A lot of people do. And just play my tracks and just rap them over and over and find all the actual parts where you got to breathe and stuff and figure it out and do it and take the time to do it. I've typically like now I'm a father. I work full time. I have for years and years. It's very hard for me to like have time to dedicate to be a performer. That's why I think you don't see me out there like performing. I love to. I wish that I could, get into it, and the stuff that I like to get to in my life. Anything I get into, I like to really get into it. I really dedicate myself. I don't want to just like, I hate like, I've gone to like open mics or different places, not just rap open mics. I've been to like blues open mics, stuff like that, and I love it. Or jazz open mics I used to go to with John Jackson. But then I hardly ever go again. It's a lot of it maybe it's just me, but yeah, I just don't have the time as a father. So, but I say,
real shit.
But
dad's got to do.
Yeah, to be a performer. But there's gonna be a time, I say, there's always a time where life is always fluctuating. There's always ups and downs. So I have all these like, I know there's gonna be a time where I'm on the stage like a lot every day and stuff. Just like right now.
No, your aptitude is absolutely natural when it comes to performing. You're someone that should definitely be performing more. Whatever that genre of music is.
Yeah, and here's the thing about me too. Like particularly like one of the last times I performed at an open mic, I really, really ate shit because I didn't even realize. And this is from not rehearsing. I had rehearsed these songs before and performed these songs before, and I think I had them at OK Love, but I hadn't in a long time. I was like, all right, I'm getting back to it. And I went to an open mic to perform these songs, and not only did I like not kind of have enough in me to perform it so well, I didn't even really feel like that person anymore. I stopped drinking about a year ago. I don't drink at all, and a lot of my music has to do with alcohol and drug abuse and all this stuff, and I'm just like not that guy. Sorry, maybe I touched on like a little bit of the subject matter. Man, music is just like there is a lot of like shock rap in there. When I was at the age where Eminem was getting popular, I was like at a very, how do you say, like a influential age or whatever, and I wanted to do like a lot of what Eminem was doing and what my favorite people and that stuff rubbed off on me, and just shock shit, just like, so yeah, a lot of my stuff was pretty vulgar and all that, and then so trying to perform that's like a big reason you don't see me like promoting my music like that. If you want to listen to some good shit for the reason to hear some good art and some great ideas and all that, it's there, but a lot of the subject matter on my music is pretty let's say it's explicit, it's adult, it's you got to get it. There's like some like kind of hard shit on there. I still like a lot of it, love a lot of it, can listen to a lot. I go through phases where I love it and then I can listen to it. Lately, honestly, I've been going through just kind of hearing it on shuffle, trying to find some of my own favorite songs, and like, man, and it's a surprise to me myself hearing this stuff, and I won't like it doesn't get past me that it's a weird thing that I do, like the shit that I like, making all that shit. But the trick is, my secret is just fucking do it. Just let go and do it. It's gonna look weird. Nobody it's strange, whatever. Just fucking do it, because now I have it. Now I have all this shit to look back at.
Well, and as an artist and creator, though, you're always gonna have an interesting relationship with your own creations. Like I can't go back and perform any music from when I was 19 to 26, because I was in a hip hop duo and we were always talking about drinking gin.
And now you don't.
And it's like, I don't drink gin ever. And I haven't in more than 5 years. And it's like, I can't go and be like, Bombay, like, we drinking the Bombay. It's like, no, that's
if
not.
If he was willing to do it, though.
No, I couldn't even. No, I really couldn't. No, at this point in time, well,
a big comeback.
Maybe if it was like, what do they call it when, like, Spice Girls or NSYNC got back
like
together.
A reunion thing?
Yeah, if it was like if we were on good terms,
something like that.
The Duchess off screen, yes. Yeah. If it was like a reunion thing where there was like a reason and to necessitate doing it, maybe. But then even I would want to put like an asterisk, like does not drink Bombay gin anymore.
Yeah.
Don't try to serve me this at these shows and you know whatever.
Right.
But no, I totally agree. Like that's another reason why you shouldn't, for all you fake ass rappers out there, shouldn't be dropping a record, waiting 6 months to a year, and then it's like, because you've just grown so much since you dropped that last record. Do you even, you know what I mean? Like if you're not making music all the time, not even talking about like releasing music or like being active on social media, but like Ramon's always making music, right? So if you're just like the type of rapper that like makes one song and then like, what have you done in a year, you know, and you got nothing in the, because it's like if you had some stuff in the catalog or the vault, you would be doing something more. No, I'm just talking shit at this point.
Yeah, I think just like everybody, just like it's how much of your heart is in it and your head is in it, and what is your intention and what is your goals, you know, and like some people need it. You know, if young people, I think that's more of a young person's thing, that really like take them as an artist as like their identity, and they want to be this person. Like that's, you know.
Damn,
you know, like I'm just
that's so true.
Yeah, that's why I'm just Ramon Serrano. That's why like I never really needed a rap name because I never wanted to like be a character.
Took me almost 10 years to get rid of like the idea of needing like a caricature rap name.
Yeah,
you know,
it was a long time I was thinking too. I thought I one day not really. I think I'll just been Ramon Serrano.
No. Well, and that's why I decided to go with Wilhelm Duke, my middle names, because it's like nobody had given me a good enough nickname. Like there was no like type of culture that gave me a nickname that was so like, yeah, that's my. I mean, I did get a nickname in high school from bullying, which I did. But anyways, stupid because going as your name is honestly Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. Sure.
Need I say more? That's his rap name, Kendrick Lamar.
But Lil Wayne is a good name.
But Lil Wayne is a good name.
Lil Wayne.
And see, that's...
You know, and T-Pain is T-Pain, and Eminem is... And they are who they are, and you know, it works for them, you know. But yeah, I just think it's hard for me like to play any characters, even though a lot of my music is characters, like a lot of that, especially my older stuff.
Well, I feel like it's easier actually to probably play more characters, though, when you're just a Ramon Serrano and a Wilhelm Duke and a Kendrick Lamar, because... Kendrick Lamar can morph into all these different styles, and you're talking about Drake, and it's like he does have a flavor of the week, but it's sometimes it feels like always the same McDonald's.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
That's kind of low key. That's right. It is some good McDonald's. And I like it.
Like you want to get the double cheese and
so yeah, but to the point of like being a character or like getting too like caught up in the artist of who you are, of the like being, and I know it is what it is, and you are who you are, but like my kind of goal and my sort of like what I do is just like I'm an artist for the sake of being an artist, and I'm very much separated. I'm just a dude who works a full-time job, has a daughter, and I love art a lot. So when I'm in art mode and making art and the red light is on and we're recording, let's do that shit, and that's there, and we're on stage performing, sure, we can get into character and let's fucking bust the shit out. But after that, it's like, that's it. I was like, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Ramon Serrano. You want to make some music? It's not like, I'm like, oh yeah, dude, you see this shit? Like I was like, I'm this cool rapper. I'm a fucking rapper. I'm Axl Rose. With, you know, there's rock stars for sure. I just like me personally. I don't know. I'll never want to be like more than I am.
Well, it's funny. Like my aunt Ivy, my mother's little sister, has been telling me for years that she wants me to change my name. Get this, to Pugnacious E. Because my first name is Eric. Pugnacious E.
She loves pugs. Like she's always had a pug.
Okay.
But then pugnacious is an actual adjective to describe being. It is, but I think it's like persnickety. You know, I'm gonna have to look this up. But
pugnacious.
She's been telling me that for years.
Pugnacious E, Pugnacious Eric, like pugnacious.
Aunt Ivy, I love you, but I can't be a caricature of. Let me just look up what this means, real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, and you're right about the versatility, because I think Ramon Serrano does give you way more, or just like your name gives you more of a range to do it, because it's more like, I'm just the author. It's like Martin Scorsese, you know, it's like a director.
Right.
I'm just the one putting some shit out.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio is Leonardo DiCaprio, but he plays all these different parts.
Sure.
All right, no Leo. All right, no Leo. We don't like the Leo analogies.
Like
do we not like what's eating Gilbert Grape anymore?
No, Leo will tell his story one day. Let's not talk about Leo.
All right, my bad. I was just, analogous speaking. But, no. I went through 3 different caricatures in hip-hop before I realized that, like, going by your most authentic self is probably just best.
Yeah.
You know, and then I don't have to worry about, like, I mean, Riff Raff is always Riff Raff.
For sure.
He is always that.
Very much Riff Raff.
And I don't know if I could do something like that. Yeah. Always on that.
No, but he's been there his whole life. That's him.
Well, right.
That's his personality. That's who he is.
And that's crazy.
You know, and yeah.
I mean, I love Riff Raff, so
yeah,
you know,
for sure.
saying, but.
For sure. Yeah.
What's another person that's like always fucking on? Like, you remember when I told you, like, if Robin Williams wasn't always on, he wouldn't be Robin Williams. He'd always be the, you know what I mean?
Right.
He could never not be
Jim Carrey. I say Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. And it's like, and realistically, I don't know if I have the energy or the aptitude to be a character, a personality like that.
That's them. And do you know anybody in real life like that? You have any friends or family members you know that are just like energy on, always funny, always just like, not necessarily funny, but just like a lot. I've known some people like that, just like coming, just like can't stop, can't turn it off.
That's fair. Know? Though there are
just a high personality, you know.
No, you're right. There's definitely people in my real life that I could compare to some of these archetypes.
Archetypes. Ivy's a character. I love her. Like,
Aunt Ivy is a character. Yeah. That's absolutely true. Yeah. For all you Dukes and Duchesses out there, if you want to perform, practice that shit and stop rapping over vocals, stop singing over vocals, and stop showing up to open mics with a guitar.
Music, at the end of the day, music is entertainment, and you got people watching you, and it's an entertainment show. It's not about it's about sharing, about you giving and getting and getting and giving. It's like, so give them the best of what you got. Why go up there and just do some old poop, you know? If unless you're growing, you're learning from it, but you learn from it. You know, it is what it is. You know, I performed over my shit one time before I knew that was like not the right thing to do, or there's
I did it for years in my duo.
Yeah, and once if you can, you should do it without it. Maybe you don't have a means to do it.
Maybe you don't.
You know, maybe you don't have a choice.
But when you're performing on stage, it's not for you. I know it feels good because you're on stage and you're getting attention and you have spotlight, but it's for the audience's experience. You're curating and giving them an experience. And again, if you're not doing the things that we've been talking about the last hour when it comes to performance and caring about the craft of music, I mean, your performance will just be lackluster. It's going to show. It's just going to show. So don't do that.
Think about wanting to watch it back. Think about the recording of that. You want to see yourself, like, do something you want to watch. Make something that lasts forever.
Shout out all my Dukes and Duchesses. You are watching the Dukes and Duchesses Podcast. I'm Wilhelm Duke, your Swedish-American rapper. This has been a very interesting, fascinating conversation that will be very lightly cut and edited because we're giving you all the juice. We really are giving you all the juice. We are here with Ramon Serrano, the great, the only. Ramon, if you want to give our Dukes and Duchesses a few last closing words.
Thank you so much for your kind words, sir. Yeah, man, just stay creative, be artistic, do some good shit, I'm just a lovey-dovey dude, man. I just got a lot of love in my heart for art and artists and people and humans. I think everybody is an individual, and we all got like a lot to add to the pot. Everyone has such a beautiful color in their voice and their expression and their art and their guitar playing and their drumming and their rapping. Everyone is so unique, and we all got a lot to bring to the table. So I just do it. Don't be shy. Make opportunities to get shit recorded, get shit done, go perform, whatever it takes. Just like if you're, be active if you want to be active for your sake and for the sake of God, because, we are one, and do something good for you, do something good for the world, good for you, good for me, I like to say.
And you can't do any of what Ramon's talking about unless you get out of your own ego a little bit. Also, where can all of our Dukes and Duchesses find you, Ramon, and reach out to you, get in contact with you in case collaborations, or they want to follow you? Sure. You know what I'm saying? How can we get a hold of you?
For sure. So I'm on Instagram at Ramon Serrano Guitar. That's kind of the only place social media wise where I kind of peek my head out every now and again. I don't use Facebook or anything else like that too much. So yeah, just DM me on there, I guess, and I guess I wouldn't mind. I don't know. I gotta make another email. Like if I had some type of business email, I'm not gonna share my personal email.
But Ramon Serrano is streaming on all platforms. He has 11 albums out right now, currently. That is a lot of music. He has a lot available. Go check it out. It's gonna be in the description. It's also gonna be coming up here on the screen. Again, thank you so much, Ramon, for coming on Dukes and Duchesses. You are the first debut guest on episode 6. This is only 3 weeks in, and we already have our first guest. You were phenomenal. We learned a lot, especially anybody out there that wants to get into producing, the production of music.
Hit me up. I tell you what, collaborations, rappers, artists, don't be shy. Just think of it as like, what do you got to lose? Like, who cares? Like, if I got the time and I fuck with your shit enough, I'll work with like most anybody. I want to see some variety. I want to, work with singers. I want to like play for people. Something like easy for me is like performing behind people. Like me doing that for you when we did that little thing. That's just like nothing, man. That shit is just like easy.
We did the best So Far Sounds shows last year. Me, Ramon Serrano, and Caleb Hansen on the drums. We performed at the Rookery Building in the Loop, and we performed at the Epiphany Art Center over there on Ashland. And
good times. Great times.
Fucking great times.
Yeah.
Shout out all my Dukes and Duchesses. This has been Wilhelm Duke and Ramon Serrano, signing off. Yo. Me and Ramon Serrano. We got the Peppers Poblano. Chilling with Michael Angarano. He was from that movie back in the day with Heath Ledger. Lords of Dogtown, used to watch that, then I would go skate the ledges. I wasn't really good though. Used to fall a lot, used to break my bones. Now I'm in the zone, ET phone home. We were the lucky ones back in the day. Melancholy, sway, off the dome. I don't even know what today is. She offered me yay. I was like, I could never do that. No, get out of my face, please. I'm just trying to, it's off the top. I can for real rap off the top. It just might not make sense like a Xenia on a top. Yo, microphone checker. We playing chess, not checkers. Microphone checker. Wanna eat at Checkers. I need a burger. I'm going in like the Wurlitzer. I'm playing the piano. I'm tuning the piano. And I'm redoing the technique. My baby don't know any words. She couldn't feed me any words. And that is so absurd. But I'm balling like I'm Bird. And I'm going off the top of the dome. I flip the bird. Cause I'm very spiteful. I'm very cynical. Call me a hater, but I'll see you later. Ain't no alligators. I love crocodiles. Oh no, we're good. My bad. I'll get it back. Ever seen a white dude smoke a Newport? I don't think you have, but I have. Smoked a lot of Newports last night. That nicotine was on my ass. I was at the Ideal Theater, the theater and bar. I was going hard, large Marge in charge with the bars. I was eating Mars bars. I can't even find those anymore. Used to read Edgar Allan Poe when I was little. Cask of Amontillado. Wall a motherfucker up in clay. Let him rot forever. Never say never, that was a Justin Bieber album back in the day that we all loved. Was it kind of good? I don't know. No, I can't say that. Anyways. Babe, I need words. Yeah, I got a few tricks up my sleeve. I got this lace front weave up my sleeve. I pulled it out and a knick-knack patty-whack. Just give me one word. Not bird. Mustache. Don't be coming for my stash. I got everything in the stash in the back of the pad. And no mustaches that I really rock with. Cause they all look like Stalin or that other dude. You know what I'm talking about, that specific kind of stash. Charlie Chaplin on that ass. I'm making references and jokes. I'm cracking the egg yolk. I split them on a skillet when I rap. They can't handle the... I'm getting too off beat because I need like... an improv session. This is the message. Gotta stay on beat with Ramon Serrano. When he plays the guitar, I be going hard, trying to be a star, trying to keep going, never stop. Say the first word that comes to mind when I rhyme off the top, off the dome. Desert Dome in Omaha. I think I took you to that back in the Dizzle, but I can't remember. I'm fucking flipping up. Thorfinn, you look pretty angry. Get my ideas from the screen. Stormy Daniels. Madam Web was a horrible movie. Too fast? This is Fast Enough. The CIA, Murray Gary Webb. We watching Madam Web. It's a horrible movie. 3.7. Doesn't even got any groupies. Sydney Sweeney thought she was in the MCU. But you're not. I'm sorry. It's owned by Fox. Not the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is my universe. I was trying to be the first one. I was trying to be the first one to rap, but I came out in 1993, so I just can't. I'm too late. Maybe I should just start like matching the melody. Maybe that'll give me words easier if I'm rap. Matching the melody when I wanna rap, when I wanna go off the top of the dome. What is that? Cat in the hat, but you cannot handle that. Reading Dr. Seuss, but then you find out he was a racist too, so then you don't want to go back to all the catalog, what it do. Yeah, I be chilling too. I be smoking weed. I be smoking so much weed that they look at me and like, yo, please stop. What were you doing with your life? But I be like, I just want to smoke so much more and not do anything with my life. Cause like, fuck you all. Cause everyone in my town's off the heroin. And I be knowing that my baby is a heroine, and I'm a hero, and there's no zeros unless you're talking binary star. Shout out Gangstar, shout out Black Star. All the great stars, hip-hop groups and duos, trios. We used to eat at Zio's Pizza. We used to eat at Romeo's back in Omaha. The Latin Hispanic restaurants that were very Americanized. You really couldn't get that authentic vibe. Then I moved to Chicago, never ate Taco Bell again, cause all of these Mexican restaurants, they the fucking stan. I stan them. I'm like, yo, grade D meat, but you know, it's still a guilty pleasure if I come back to the Taco Bell late at night. You want the, yes. They used to have those 2 a.m. fucking This has been almost 12 minutes of improv. Damn, that's an odd job. Too many James Bond references that are coming off the top. I need to stop the watch. I need to read some more books. Maybe the dictionary. Scary to a lot of rappers. They don't even want to open it. Trust me. Hey, improv is not my strong suit. I'm going to say something really silly.